And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is PrinCess Yeme Jeaneé, Educational Director and Remote Viewer from the Farsight Institute, a leading venue for public projects using remote viewing for scientific investigation and exploration. She also has a worldwide YouTube audience, and outside of Farsight, she is a noted actress, model, and mother. Yeme, thanks for joining me and welcome.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, Yeme, how did you get into remote viewing?
This story is pretty interesting. I used to be an art model at an art cafe, and Dr. Brown used to go to this art cafe. And ironically, he was one of the few people that I would look for, And so sometimes he was there, sometimes he wasn't. When he was there, it was like, yeah, you're here. Hey, he was a friend. And like, I think after 2 or so years of watching me, he realized I was just a little weird. And so, and so he was like, hey, because he had been gone for like a couple of months. He hadn't come in a while. And then I was like, where you been? And he was like, I've been working on these things. Now I know it was like Farsight, but I didn't know that then. He's like, I've been working on these things. He's like, I need your help. And I'm like, what did you possibly need my help with? This crazy man needs my help. What is he thinking? And and he was like, yeah, I need to change the world and I need your help to do it. And I need people that people want to listen to and that people want to watch. And I think that's you. And he was like, not too many people want to stare at me. And I'm like, okay. So he was like, I will teach you. He goes, watch these videos and tell me if you want to do it. And at first I was like, okay, I don't know what he's talking about. He told me a little bit about remote viewing. I think I stared at him like he had goats coming out of his mouth, probably. Never heard of it a day in my life. So I came into this unknowing, like a lot of people have done research and now they find the YouTube pages and then they get to the listenings and they're moving through all these different things and then they join into the remote viewing. But me, I didn't know diddly squat about what it was and how it existed. And so he told me about it. We sat down, we talked, gave me videos. It was the Pyramids of Giza videos with Dick Algeyer and Daz Smith. And he told me, watch it, let me know what you think if you're interested. So I watched it and I fell asleep. And I watched it and I fell asleep. And so I keep fast forwarding to the last thing I remembered because I just didn't know what I was watching. I'm like, what am I doing? But I'm gonna do it for my friend. And one day I got to the end of the video and I was like, wait a minute, I need to watch this again. And so I sat down and I brought my mom in this time, like maybe together we both can get through this video. So my mom came to visit me and I'm like, here, sit down. We're popping popcorn, making sandwiches, and we're watching these videos. And we both fell asleep. And so, so the next morning, I'm like, okay, let's do this in the daytime, not at night. And I watched the video and I started seeing all the synchronicities. And I was like, what is this sorcery? And so I saw this was like it took 2 months. And so I finally saw Dr. Brown at the art cafe. And he goes, did you watch the video yet? And I was like, yeah, I watched the video. And he was like, are you interested? I'm like, what is it? I'm interested because I like new things. I like to learn, but I don't know what I just watched. But I thought it was really cool. And the things I thought that was cool. And we sat and talked about it. And he brought me in one day and, gave me some drills and taught me how to meditate properly and all the different things and like taught me how those things work for myself and like my whole self and how to really move in that space. And And then he would take me through these little drills. And one day my mom would come to visit me from North Carolina to Georgia. She would come to visit me in the summer. So she came with me one day and she saw it for herself. And we were just like, that's a coincidence. Whatever. That's lucky guess. Like guess the number between 1 through 7. 4. Oh wow. Right. That's kind of how I saw it until I kept doing it. And I kept coming to learn and he kept teaching me 101. And eventually I was like, okay, stop the shenanigans. Tell me how you got the rabbit out the hat. Because clearly this is magic and I am just a pawn. This is what I thought the whole time. I'm like, because I never heard of this. I didn't even know it was a community. I thought we were the only people that knew this existed. And he discovered, gold or something until he was like, okay, now that I got you interested, let me teach you something. And so then he taught me the history and he showed me all these different things. Then I realized there's a billion people out here that know what remote viewing is. And I'm just like, oh my God, am I just late to the party? I thought I was late to the party. Like, how did I do this? And he was like, I need help. And he goes, I can teach you how to remote view. I can't teach anybody how to be on camera. I can't teach anybody how to grab an audience and to talk, to do these things. But he goes, but I could find someone who looks good on camera, who people want to hear from, and I can teach them what I know.
Did you have any psychic ability before you got into this?
Yes, I did. Did I call it that? No. I've been a very heavy empath my whole life. Very, very heavy. I could pick up on energies, people. My mother to this day reminds me that I used to talk to spirits when I was little. I would talk to my great grandmother who had passed, and it's something I still do today. I'm a heavy medium. I'm an untrained medium, but they come and go. and and so yeah, I've always been very intuitive. I would tell my mom. She said I was very profound. I would say things a 5-year-old shouldn't say. And then I would go back to playing with my dolls. And then she would come back and ask me a question on it because it was about her. She would come back and ask me a question about it. And she would say that I did not remember what I was talking about. Like, what are you talking about? Mama playing with my dolls. But I would just come out and I would say these things. And I would have dreams that now I realize were prophetic dreams growing up. And so with it being an untrained thing, obviously I didn't know I was growing up, this psychic ability until I got older, and the remote viewing amplifies. It doesn't give you psychic ability. It doesn't create it for you. It enhances, enlarges, and amplifies the psychic ability that you already have. Any gift that you already have. If you can see auras, right? I can see aura coloring. I can't do it on command, but when it does come, I'm like, oh, I'm still learning how to command it or whatnot. Telepathic communication. I've always had that with my mother. And we just thought it was a deep mother-daughter bond, because we're inseparable. You would think we were twins. And we're inseparable. And so, that mother-daughter, that twin bond, that brother-sister, where you just kind of know things, or even when you're married, and you've been married a long time in a healthy relationship, you begin to know that person in and out. So now you're hearing that inner communication, and I experienced that a lot with my mother, but I just thought it was a me and my mom thing until it would happen with a friend, or it would happen, now, with my child. How did you know that? Dude, your mom's telepathic. Oh, right. He can't stand it. So he's looking at me like, that's not fair. And, so I've always had these things. I've always been a healer. I've always been a healer. I've always been wise beyond my years. And so I now kind of put it in the pile of my psi abilities. that
Did
was just manifesting in a little girl.
did you have any interest in UFOs and ETs and things like that before you got into remote viewing?
I never thought about it, but I didn't have a disinterest. Um, I always believed in everything. I'm a little girl, I was a girl who believed in magic, you know, like bippity boppity boo exists. You can't tell me otherwise. And so I believed in the power to do certain things. Now, did I think it looked like it did on TV? No. Did I say there's no such thing as aliens? No, but I never thought about it. But my mom, now I got questions, mommy. Um, but my mom, when I would ask her what color I was, or about my ethnicity, because my father was much brighter than me and my mom and my grandmother. And so I was like, well, if you look like this and my dad looks like this, what does that make me? And my mom would tell me, my mom's calling me now. Look, see, she feels it. My mom would tell me, you're an alien. Right? And I would be like, no, I'm not. And the little machines, like, what are they called? The towers, I still to this day don't know what they're called. My mother told me that they were what guides the alien spacecraft. And to this day, that's still what I believe because no one's told me otherwise. So until someone tells me what they actually do, that's what they are. And because I really don't know, but I guess they're like towers or cell towers, or no, they didn't have cell phones then. So like I don't know what they are, but the towers that have like the blinking red lights and the
Hmm.
white lights, and then there will be these other big metal things that was on the side of the interstate. And my mom will always say, "Oh, the aliens, they're coming to get you. They're waiting for you to come back home." You know, in my head it was a joke, but I never denied it either. And so I guess I had an interest, but I wasn't like searching, but I just believed that everything existed. Magic exists, aliens exist, witches exist, fairies exist. I didn't believe in Santa, but I did believe in the tooth fairy, right? And so, all the things, they're here. We just can't see them, right? And so, but I never went to search for it. Now they come find me.
Can you take us through the first time that you remote viewed something that blew you away, like you saw a base on Mars or saw an ET or something, and it just kind of like shook your world?
The first, I can take you back to the very first thing that, well, no, a lot of things shook my world. There is one that you can find yourself. When I tell you about it, when you go watch it, you'll know what's happening because the people watching didn't know what was happening. So I'll talk about that one first. And that is the war in heaven. I come from a very strong Christian background. So being a scientist in the metaphysical space and the unknown and the unseen and the unbelieved, it kind of doesn't match. So I'm kind of like here with all of my beliefs. That's why I'm able to believe in everything. And when I did the war in heaven, of course, I didn't know where I went. And I kept calling these, I guess I was in the asteroid belt. I'm not sure. I kept calling them, I see lava rocks, and it looks like outer space threw up on itself. And there's basically planets were being blown up, fire was being thrown. But to me, this is what it looks like. I didn't know where I was. And then he told me, I'm in it was a war in heaven. He took me to the Bible verses that talked about it in Matthew and in Revelation about the dragon and all the things. And I'm looking at him like, you gotta be flipping kidding me. What are you talking about? And I got overwhelmed because heaven is supposed to be these pearly white gates and golden streets and castles, right? Because that's what we're told. And that's not what I saw. So now I'm trying to figure out who's lying to me. And my life just got turned upside down. And you'll see me when he does the reveal that I put a piece of paper up to my face. I don't think he took that part out, but I put this paper up to my face. And in that moment, I am bawling. Like I'm crying and I'm trying to like get myself together before I like, back on camera, look great. I am bawling because I'm overwhelmed with I just visited heaven. Heaven's not what I thought it was. Heaven is right above us. Heaven is beautiful. And there was a war there, but the war wasn't what the war is said to be in the Bible. There was so much. This was when I realized there's so much more truth to the things we're giving in our tangible spaces. And I'm just like, kind of like when we find out that nothing really exists, like energy and matter. If you can see it, then it is, right? This bottle may not even really be here. I can't really touch it, but because I've manifested it, it's here. Like grasping that is, and so grasping heaven is like a spaceship away. I don't have to die to get there and look for this great being. Also, these great beings, the great I am is, in the prisons of Lyra, I am is God. God is I am, i.e., alien. I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm floored. That was one of the first times that I lost it. I was like, this is too much for me.
I just want to let people know that about 2 weeks ago, I had Dr. Brown on. So even though we're speaking about him quite a bit, if you want to know more about him and the Farsight Institute, you can go back and reference that video. And while I'm speaking of him, during that video, we talked about that he's been having board meetings with the ETs. Are you present for those?
Me?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I am very, very present.
All right. So can you take us through the recent meeting and what happens and what's going on?
The most recent meeting. Okay, so I do so many things that I can't always put my things in linearly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't exist in a linear time space.
What do you mean by that?
Um, Sometimes all of the things psychically that I move through and go through and do, they compile into one space and they just exist there. So when you say the last one, I'm like struggling to, you know,
Right. Well, maybe you're mixing them up with the last 6 of them or something. I don't know.
right, I've done so many, and then I do sessions, and
Mm-hmm.
then sometimes my sessions come into the meetings, and so I'm just,
Okay. Well, let me re-ask it this way. Can you kind of take us through what it's like being in the meeting, and then for whatever you can remember that really sticks out in your mind, that's eventful?
yes, I meditate heavily, probably more than anyone else. I'm starting to realize, like I walk in and I do my makeup and my hair because I wake up at 5 in the morning being a mom. So I finally get to the studio and I get my life and not look like a soccer mom and and I just go into myself after we sometimes we play these games, little mind games, just to piggyback off of each other and really, aid in our telepathy or whatnot. We'll play these games, guess this color or guess this, little things here. And but then I'll kind of leave everyone and I'll go into myself and breathe and meditate. And then whenever everyone else goes into their meditation, we come out together and we have our guests that are there, our extraterrestrial beings that come in that we can see, like we can see them. I know you guys cannot. Maybe you can feel them if you tried. Um, but a lot of the times we can see them, and it's not always a visual seeing, like I'm looking at you right now. Sometimes it's a seeing or a seeing, and usually we are all on the same page. Like we all can tell that this one is more feminine and this one is more masculine. Or these are kind of non-binary, like they don't really have a gender, but they're funny. This one's a little aggressive. Like we're all like picking up on that. And so it's shocking because like at first I was again, I don't know if you've heard of Typical Skeptics with Rob.
Yeah, I'm aware of his podcast.
He's the homie. I love him. He's so sweet. But I am a typical skeptic. So like as much as I believe in everything, I'm a Libra, so there's two sides to me. As much as I believe in everything, I also don't. You got to prove it to me. And so yeah, Courtney talks to Harvey, and this is what people. I will look at the comments all the time, and they go, "Oh, they knew and they planned this." You can believe me or not, I don't care. You got to prove something to me before I go all in with it. And so I'm sitting here like this is going, kid you not, Dr. Brown, I love you. Don't hate me for saying this. But this was my honest to God truth. I'm like, we're about to have a board meeting with 6 of us here talking to these beings that may or may not be there. And we're going to make it public. What if this goes wrong and it's not really happening? And now it's a doozy. This is where my mind, like no one knows I thought this because I'm the glue of, I'm the one that keeps everyone happy. And hey, I understand that this may be hard, but you can do it. I'm the big mama bear at Farsight. And so I'm like, I can't let them know I feel this way or everyone's gonna not believe in themselves. So I'm just sitting here like, okay, this is about to happen. And this is really how I felt. This is about to happen. And that's why I'm like, let me just meditate. Maybe I'll hear something, maybe I won't. Good luck, everybody. And bam, all this information just started coming out of my mouth that I don't know about. I don't watch the news.
So when you say the information's coming out of your mouth, are you channeling the beings or you're just asking questions that you weren't prepared to ask?
I'm not channeling them. It's more like what do they call them? An interpreter, like a language interpreter.
They're speaking through you?
They're speaking to me and I'm translating it
Okay, so you hear
to
it.
you.
You hear them and then you translate what they're saying?
I hear them. I hear them. It's almost like, oh, this is, I'm glad that you asked me this question because to this day, I don't even really know how to explain it. And it's sort of like my remote viewing, like the information just boop, 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 beep, boop, it just comes. And
It's like a download or
it
something.
yeah, it's like a download. And I guess I could say it's kind of like mediumship,
Mm-hmm.
not channeling. I'm not possessed. I'm not being taken over.
Mm-hmm.
There are times where I can feel myself communicating in the energy that they have it. And so I guess one would think there is a channeling, but I'm in full control. But I have to kind of come out of it, when I'm going back and forth. Like when I'm doing my sessions, when you can see me kind of, hey, I'm asking a question. Hey, I'm giving the answer. I feel kind of like, what is it, Jekyll and Hyde? Jekyll and Hyde-ish or whatever, but I'm not channeling. I am translating. And sometimes the information comes so quick and I'm like, can you slow down? Like it's all jumbled up. It's like you grabbed a bag of puzzles and was like, here, put the pieces together. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Give me containers. Let's separate the pieces and then let's put it together. And that's kind of how it feels for me. I can't speak for anyone else, but that was my experience. It was like Courtney is talking and let me put some respect on his name. Dr. Brown is talking. And next thing you know, I can like almost see them staring into me. Like, I need you to say this. This is what you need to say. This is what I'm saying to you. And then I'm like, information overload. Hey. And then I just start talking about things. I don't know I don't know what's going on in the world. Do I know it's in chaos? Absolutely. Like I said, I don't watch the news. I get my news from my sessions. That's about it. Because it's depressing and confusing, and I don't want to get involved. Um, I don't. I'm very socially awkward, so like I don't go out talking to people. I talk to aliens. I don't go out talking to like people of this. What do you think about LMNOP going on in society? Like, that's not my thing. When someone asks me, I'm like, that's going on. Oh my God, tell me about it. Like, I had no idea. Like, there was something like last year going on, or was it a year before, going on in Florida. It was the year before, going on in Florida with where people were like hanging and massacring gay people. And I just had no idea. And I'm at a conference in like it's an LGBTQIA space, safe space in the workshop I'm in. And sorry, I'm kids are running in and out. It's a LGBTQIA space that I'm in, safe space that I'm in, and it was kind of like they were talking about all the things going on in the world, and I'm sitting here embarrassed that I had no idea. So that's how much under a rug I live. I get all my information strictly from what I do at Farsight in real time.
Well, one of the things Courtney talks about is that we live on a prison planet. Do you agree with that?
I have a lot of thoughts about that. In one umbrella, I'll say, yes, I do believe we're on a prison planet. On another umbrella, I believe that it's more than the reptilians or whatever that created this as a prison planet. I believe that we, the people, turned this as well into a prison planet, right? I also believe there's also a part of me, and this is just my mind going after I gain knowledge. So like I'm devil's advocate. I always play devil's advocate, even when I believe something. My mug is magenta. I guess somebody would call it purple, right? Purple, magenta, fuchsia, turquoise. That's the color of my cup. But I'm the type of person that's gonna say, is it? Is it magenta or is it purple? Right? Is it magenta or how do you know? And so I live my life like that, even though clearly I see it's magenta, but like, I want to know why you think it's magenta. What are your eyes doing? What is your spirit telling you right now about this cup? And, about this illusion that's here. And so, yeah, it's a prison planet all day, hands down, total authoritarian, totalitarian, the things, hands down. I feel it. I get the messages from the ETs, so I can't not. I can't be like ETs told me it was a prison planet, but it's not. It is. Our system looks and mirrors a prison system. So even if it's not, even if we are taking away the esoteric, if we take away the metaphysics, which we can't take away, if we take away the aliens, right? Because people don't believe in aliens. Not everyone believes in them, right? If we take that aspect away and you want to believe and know where we are and what we live in this universe, just look at that. Just look at that. The school system mirrors the prison system. And then they get thrown out of both systems when they've completed their time. That is forced upon them for whatever reason, right? And now they're expected to understand life when they just had to raise their hand to go to the bathroom or ask permission to eat. But you want me to buy a house and have good credit. And so even if we take away the esoteric etherealism of the universe, of the world, even if we take away the woo-woo, right? Even if we take away the crap that normal people don't believe in, Can you see that? Can you see how the government moves? Can you see how the law enforcement teams move and how we fight and we infiltrate just to imprison another country to do our bidding? How is it not a planet of prisons, if not a prison planet?
Have you filmed ETs like Dr. Brown does?
No, I want to. Me and the ETs got beef right now. Um, I was sitting in the car because one of my friends, well, followers slash friends, because I do befriend some of my followers. I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, you're beneath me. You're like, you're a person. I'm a person. Hey, thanks. Because like without you, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be who I am. And so he hit me up. I call him Bread. He goes by Pancake, but I call him Bread. Hopefully he hears this. Hey guy, you're awesome. But he sent me a video and it was in Atlanta because I'm constantly posting, where are the ETs in Atlanta? They're in Jersey and everybody else. Why y'all are not in Atlanta? And so he sent me a video of somebody recording in their car in Atlanta. And this dude, and this is how I know it was real. He was, because it was a guy that clearly doesn't believe in aliens. You could tell, like, the flabbergastic in his voice, like, the what in the entire beep is this? And he is sitting here like, look, I'm driving in the middle of the air. Like, he's yelling, I'm driving in the middle of the interstate, and the three dots in the right, just look, and it's right there. Like, you can tell he's in his car on the interstate, done pulled over. And I'm sitting here like, why y'all don't come find me? I want to see you. So I sat outside. I said, if you expect me to stand out here in the cold, scanning the sky, I'm going to catch y'all in the summer. I'm going to catch y'all in the summer because this is beneath me. You show yourselves to everyone else, but you don't show yourselves to me. But then you expect me to give your messages and let me hear y'all and whatever, but you don't show yourselves to me. I have problems with you right now. I told them that straight up, and they still didn't show up. So I went inside.
Have any of the ETs ever blocked you from remote viewing something?
Oh, oh yes. They don't even want me talking about this now. Um, like I have a killer headache that I'm going through that I can tell it only came on as soon as I finally sat down to do this. I didn't have a headache all day. I've been peaceful. And so they will do different things. Like there were times where they used to cause me to just pass out right when I was about to get information, learn something, learn how to harness a gift to do more with it, clock out, lost time. In remote viewing, I'll be going in and they'll scramble my brain and I'll forget what I'm doing or I'll fall asleep when I'm wide awake. Um, I have had they some of them do complete silence, like noticeably quiet, where it's like I can't even hear my thoughts. Can I hear my thoughts? Like, am I thinking? Can I hear my thoughts? Like, I was writing something and it stopped mid-word, and I don't remember what the word is. Um, and so sometimes I have to like talk it through while I'm trying to write. I'll talk it through, and you know how we're recording. Um, I use my iPad to do my work, and so I'll try to talk, and then when I get stuck, I'll go back and okay, that's what I was saying because I couldn't write it down. Um, I have I have even texted Courtney like when I was in the middle of a session, and I'm like, I don't hear, see, feel, smell anything, and I'm getting tired, and I want to stop. And he'll text me back, just put up an anti-blocker and put up an anti-blocker. When you go back in, you'll be able to get in. Or he'll say,
What's an anti-blocker?
I can't begin to even try to explain it. I don't know how to explain that to you.
Hmm.
Just, sometimes just saying it, like you can walk into a room, remote viewing, and like when I was learning, I used to say, it's dark. He'll go, well, turn the lights on. And I'm like, what? Okay. Or or sometimes I'll be too close to it. And he's like, shrink it and put it in your hand. And I'm like, oh, because I can't see it all. And then when I was learning, he was like, shrink it. So I've learned these are similar things to like anti-blocking. So like when I was learning, whenever I was being monitored by him, he taught me how to get past things that even I could block myself. And so of course I can go up to, I'll use this pencil. I can go up to something and I'm right here. I'm not gonna be able to see what this is. Everything's purple. But if I back up, now I can see it. Or if I, because I can do anything in remote viewing, I'm magical there, right? I can shrink it and I can hold it in my hand, and now it's much smaller. I can, oh, okay, now let me feel it. So that's kind of like an anti-blocker. Or when it comes to the people, sometimes you'll see me push my way through it. And so I will sometimes simply telling yourself you're not blocked breaks it. I'm not blocked. You'll every now and again hear me say, stop that. I don't know if it comes on my videos because I don't get to watch them all often because I'm constantly doing sessions. Like I'm working every single month. I mean, if I'm not working, I'm teaching or training or parenting or taking a nap. But because this is a lot. But I like you'll hear me go, stop that. Don't do that. Like I like a parent, let me in. I know you see me talking to you. I know you hear me talking to you. Like now I'm just like, look, I got things to do when you're stopping the things I have to do to change the world. So I need you to get it together, show yourself, and give me the information that I need. And a lot of times they're looking at me like, this human is obviously psychotic. So I'm going to listen to her. I'm going to listen because that's a little creepy. She's like 2 feet tall and she's yelling at me, and I'm a giant alien. She's got some balls. I sure do. And you're going to give me the information I need. And I'll push, like I'll push. And sometimes it hurts. Sometimes, sometimes the pushing hurts my body. And I'm exhausted. Sometimes the pushing, um, it causes me to get headaches or it brings cloudiness. Sometimes everybody shuts down, me and the alien. Like I've had them not want me to see something at all. And I'm basically climbing over electric fences. They're shooting loud noises through my ear. And I have to come back refreshed. And so it's kind of like I'll come back tomorrow. Can't do this right now. I'm beaten, and I do the same thing tomorrow. I got to start the session over again. But now that I have this information that I do have, and I know what their tactics are, I'll go back in and I'm just like, okay, whoever I'm talking to likes to do loud noises. So I'm going to not allow the loud noises. I'm not even going to allow myself to hear it. And I'm gonna kind of sneak in around the back and I'm like, ha, I got your information.
Are you able to remote view future events? And
Mhm.
if so, can you share with us what you've seen for the near future?
Hmm. Trying to think of, we do future stuff all the time. Like there was a year where we did time cross and we would go forward and document it. And Courtney would watch the news diligently to see what if one of our things happened. And a lot of times it did. Like one time I caught this building catching on fire and we'll post it like 30 days prior, right? So today for what happens in March. And And sometimes it would happen, and I would be like, well, why can't we stop it? Well, our goal is to show people that it can happen. And so if we stop it, it's not happening. Kind of sucked. That used to hurt me. Like I said, I would see this building on fire, and next thing my mom was like, "Did you hear about this such and such a building that caught fire? They say it's this," and I'm over here like, "You gotta be kidding! I saw that. I saw that happen." Like now I'm like spazzing out, and my mom's looking at me like, "Okay," But even down to some of the things in the presidency, the candidates and what they were or were not doing, and how what could possibly happen. I think one of the conventions that current President Trump, before while he was in the what do you call it, the campaigning and stuff, or where he would go to talk to certain uh, places. I can't remember what they're called.
Like his rallies or something?
Yeah, the rallies. Thank you. I literally do not watch the news, so I don't know. um, I don't know what they're called a lot, but the rallies. Yeah, I remember. Um, it was an attack there that I foresaw, and then it was when he got, shot at, and I saw that before it happened. So it's
Have you seen anything with these drone sightings that have been happening lately?
I just can't remember if they're past, present, or future. I can't remember. I don't get to watch a lot of my stuff in real time. I have to set aside a day to go and look at my things, and then I'll pick one thing.
Is it like you just go to work, you'll just remote view a whole bunch of stuff, and then you just kind of let Courtney figure it all out?
Yeah, but I work from home. We all work from home now. And so yeah, I wake up, take my son to school, I come back home, I walk the dogs, eat, meditate, maybe take a nap if I'm tired, meditate, and then I get my we use tablets now instead of our a lot of paper, physical paper. I get my tablet out, I download my template, and I just do the thing, and then I send it in. And the next day I do the same thing to a different target. Then I send it in. And the next day I do the same. So every day I'm doing a different target, and then I send it in, and I don't know what it is until I record it. After I record it, and after I do the what do they call it? The reveals, the target reveals. That's when I find out what it is, and that was like a month ago.
Have you remote viewed Mars? And if so, what have you seen there?
Oh, I've been on Mars plenty of time to the point where now I pick up on the energy of Mars when I'm sent for something new. And I'm like, this feels like Mars. Like this is like my home. No, remembering these things, it gets tricky because the thing with remote viewing is looking at it after you've done it. So if I don't, even if he tells me and I don't really look at it after I've done it and like compare my notes, like for real, it's kind of like trying to remember something that happened to you when you were two, but you are an adult. So you have remnants of it, um, but it's not all the pieces aren't there until your memory is jogged. Um, Mars, the base is there. I see a lot of life there often, human life, um, extraterrestrial life, and I see trying to pick a target and throw myself back there. So I can do that. Like if I know a target, I can zoom back in. The bases on Mars, you know, those are
Those are ET bases or human bases or both?
both
What about the moon? Are there bases there
our
too?
moon or
Yes. Yeah.
Mars's
Yeah.
moon.
Our moon.
You know, I'm a little sad about the moon right now because I'm just now finding out that that it may not have been natural to to this planet. It was brought to the planet. I want to go back because I just refuse to believe it, even though I saw it with my own foresight, my own eyes. um, so I'm kind of in a pickle with the moon right now, but there are bases on the moon, on the dark side of the moon, the far side that's not facing us. Um,
That's
Recently, I have looked at the full moon and I could physically see dark spots in the moon. And I was like, am I tripping? And so I looked again and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not losing my mind. I can see dark spots in the moon. Like I'm assuming they may be craters or a base. And that's what my physical eye, that's me here, not by locating.
You're not my first guest to say that the moon was brought here. And I was even told before that there are historical writings of when there was no moon.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if you're aware of that or not. I wasn't until I heard about it.
I'm not. I'm now I would love to know, like I would love to know more about it, about that, because that really, like I was looking at the moon last night and I call it the Cheshire Cat moon. It's a crescent moon, a waxing crescent moon, but I call it the Cheshire Cat moon because I'm adorable. And I like Alice in Wonderland. And it was the Cheshire Cat moon. It was like face like this, and then a star right there, like someone drew it. And I'm like, is this real? Does it really look like that? What's really because now I have questions because of what I've recently found out about the moon.
Do you think we'll ever get full disclosure or we won't because it's too scary?
Yes, no. The reason I say that, I, how do I say this? Because this is something I'm active. You're asking me a question that I'm actively sorting through um, in my thoughts, over some time now. I listen to a lot of books. I do audible books, and I listen to a lot of fantasy books, with where they talk about the blending of creatures, whether they are fairies or aliens or whatever else, and human, and how they had to come, how they had to come and fix the planet. Now there are saviors, and now we're blended, the good guys, the bad guys, kind of like the goody teas, the baddie teas. And I believe disclosure is coming. I don't know if full disclosure will happen in this lifetime for me, but I'm hoping it at least does before this physical body of mine closes its eyes. You know, I I can hope, right? Because it's coming. One thing about the president right now is that he's disclosing a lot of information. You know, even when it comes to even when it comes to okay, the JFK and MLK, things he's disclosing a lot of information. Now we have these drones. They already had a whole Congress meeting about if if these things are real. And they ask very specific questions. They're like, I can't tell you that. Well, if you can't tell me, then obviously it exists. If I didn't, pardon the harshness, I don't know what is and is not allowed. If I did not kill this person, I'm going to say I did not kill this person. If I killed this person, I'm going and I don't want to lie or I can't disclose information, right? I'm going to say something else. I can't disclose that information. I plead the fifth. I XYZ elemental P, right? Whatever it may be, I see no reason why the government can't disclose extraterrestrial information if it doesn't exist. Otherwise, you're going to continue to tell me that it's a giant cookie that someone threw in the air and caught a picture of. But you can't tell me that because it's there. So disclosure is happening. And there's books about it, which means they're getting the same messages that I'm getting. There's books, sci-fi, science fiction books that exist with the information that we already know to be true. But you have to be a buffoon to listen to that. No, I saw it with my own eyes. I'm a remote viewer. I seek the truth. I seek the truth. Is it going to happen in a year? Maybe. Maybe. Is it going to, if it's not done right, it could be looked at as an invasion. And that's what they don't want. No side wants that. Not even the bad guys. They don't want it to be like an invasion because then it's full out war. And now, can it happen 10 years from now? Absolutely. Will it happen 100 years from now? Absolutely. I plan on getting on the same diet Dr. Brown is on so I can be here for it.
Do you have a favorite ET that you've been in contact with? At least a favorite species?
Yeah. Honestly, I am in love with them all, even the bad ones. And not be and take this lightly. Like I'm fascinated by them all. Even when they talk to me, when the bad guys talk to me, I'm just like, wow, like if you weren't full of bull crap, you'd be pretty awesome. Like this is how I'm thinking. Um, the one that really put a stain on my heart, like my heart, is um a reptilian. She was a good guy. And it was when I did the before the dinosaur extinction. And she was just amazing, very human-like. But she had um I would call them locks. I don't know what to call them, but I would call them locks, hair that, were singles but long. Um, and she was probably 5'8", 5'9", significantly taller than me. And her hands, they, extended out, and she felt like, I don't want to call it rubber, but the scales, and she was like this effervescent blue, purple, greenish color that kind of like reflected, like when she moved, it shimmered. I can't explain it, but and she kind of looked at me like we were both kind of sizing each other up. You know how in the movies when the girls like walk in a circle around each other? It was kind of like that. We were both kind of like, she knew I was there to probe her, and she was like, well, I guess two could play that game. And so we're sitting here just sizing each other up, and then she grabs my hand and she takes me around and tells me everything.
Now, were the reptilians involved with the extinction of the dinosaurs?
Can't remember everything right now. This headache is really screwing with me. There was a war. It was a war, and they came and they blew the planet up. They were on Earth, and they came. They were Another species came and blew it up, and I prefer to think that that's why we've got some bad guys. You hurt people enough, they can't turn back from it. You hurt beings enough, they can turn back from it. That's probably the hope I have in my heart, for all species. I don't believe that all one species or race of anything is bad or good. We've got good humans and bad humans. We've got good humans of this race and bad humans of that same race, and vice versa. So the same goes with the extraterrestrials.
Are the bad reptilians the prison guards of the earth?
I believe they are. What you hear is my devil's advocacy and typical skepticalisms. What I'm about to say next. So yes, I do believe that. I have seen that, but also, and this is my thing. This is not anything I have personally seen or been told. There, but also, or actually, I have seen some things. I think there might be something higher up that we haven't touched yet, that we can't see. That's just something inside. Like when I go to the death traps, there are these shadow beings, and they have these faces that they favor demonic. I want to call it demonic. They have this some beak-like shapes, but they're shadowed and red eyes and this odd, so who are they? Is what I want to know. Who are they? Are they reptilians, but in a different form, or are they something completely different? Are they equal or higher up? Are they, what's really happening here? That's what I want to know.
Would you say that those are your least favorite, or is there some other race that you despise the most?
I don't have any disposition against any race. Not any race of extraterrestrial at all. I can't say one race is this and one race is that. I can say personally that I didn't like those guys. I could do without them. you know, didn't like those guys. Who and what are they? I have no clue. Will I judge a different set that I see that looks like them? I don't know. I'll watch my back because that was a little scary, right? If you see Michael Myers walking behind you, you're not gonna stop walking. you know,
How did you get the title princess?
I don't go by that anymore,
Oh,
actually.
I shouldn't have said
No, no,
that.
no, 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 because there are people that still call me that and know me as that. Um, Personally, I don't. In some spaces, I do. But I've been called that my whole life, almost. Princess my whole life. For since I was a child, and my I eventually got my teachers to call me that, and eventually that is what I went by for a long time. But I dropped it over the years because I found it hindering. Um, a lot will say that I carry princess-like energy when I walk and how I exist in space. I'm like very prissy and poised, and, like a princess. But I was told one day by a mentor of mine, a princess is always in waiting. And I said, it's time I get out of waiting. Like I'm not waiting to be married off to someone and let them help me with my life or be saved from something or waiting to be queen or waiting to I'm not waiting anymore. I'm stepping into my full divine femininity and goddesshood.
Do you think it's possible that you would be considered a star seed, or perhaps you are or were a member of the secret space program?
I have recently done a QHHT session with Draco Reed. I'm back in the summer. Yeah, I think so. Summer fallish. And it did come back that I was a part of the secret space program. I'm still analyzing that video, so I don't have a lot of answers in reference to that.
Does that resonate with you?
I can, I'm not shocked because I'm very drawn to the knowledge of it, right? Um, People in past lives or in realms who were chefs or cooks, they are drawn to cooking, to being a chef, you know? And so I've been very drawn to understanding how to break that barrier and to restore memories. So I don't know why I would be so drawn to that if I wasn't a part of it, searching for my memories.
You were going through the QHHT session. Were memories coming up of you living on Mars or out in the asteroid belt or something?
I don't know where I was, um, but there were some definite things that came up that coincided with the stars a reading that I got from Lily Nova. Um, she's amazing, and it kind of answered some of those questions, and it did come up some things about my DNA. Um, I'm still analyzing this footage, so like I said, I don't have a lot of answers, not necessarily on Mars, but definitely having my own fleet of ships. Um, Definitely having some spaces where I commanded in those areas, and tying me to both Lyran and reptilian blood.
Are you going to be at the Full Disclosure Now conference this year?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Are you going to be speaking?
I will be.
Oh, great. And that's this summer or in March or when?
June, I believe, June or
June?
July.
Oh, yeah, maybe July.
July, I think it's June. I don't remember.
What will you be talking about?
I haven't decided yet. I have three other conferences before then, so
Really? Where else are you going to be at coming up?
uh, contact modalities conference, which is in May, um, Wisconsin. You'll have to forgive me with my memory. Like up front, I don't remember well. I have to look at things. Um, I have to look at things, or I have to talk about it a lot for it to become
Hmm.
something I can say up front. But yeah, I believe it's Wisconsin. I can actually send you the information if you want to put it up here. I'll be speaking there. I was supposed to be speaking this month at
Is that the
what was it
Conscious
now?
Life Expo or something?
Yes, I can't. And like I said, you have to forgive me for all the things. This headache is really
That's in
being
Los
trouble.
Angeles?
No, no, no. This one was in Florida.
Hmm.
Um,
What about?
but that has been postponed to August. No, April, April or August. I can't remember. But that one has been postponed to a later date. And I was going to be talking, and that one I was going to be talking about the importance of meditation and how we utilize that in remote viewing and what how remote viewing pertains to our everyday life.
Well, after watching this podcast, people may want to reach out to you and ask you questions. Are you open to that?
Absolutely. I do have consultations. I can send you that rating for consultations or whatnot. If you just want to sit and talk with me about the things, we can do 30 minutes, an hour, and I'll on Zoom, and I can send those things. Please do not send me very long emails because trying to read those, it gets a lot. It becomes a lot, and I don't like to disappoint people. I sometimes will get novels of an email, and I'm like, they want me to read this? Oh my God. And it becomes a lot for me. because I am dyslexic. A lot of people don't know that. Reading is not the easiest. And I'm ADHD. And so now we have the words doing hopscotch. And now let me just so please email me. I can give you, I have 2 emails. I'm working on rebranding my business. A lot of people know my business and my company as Princess Views. I am slowly rebranding into Hyperscope, so you may see 2 simultaneously happening. You can email me currently at princessviews@gmail.com. I'm working on my website right now, which when it is fully up, it will be hyperscope dot space. So cool.com was taken, and I was looking at other things, and the dot space just was perfect. So hyperscope dot space. You can also email me at Yeme Jeaneé at hyperscope dot space. So either as I'm transitioning, I'm still looking at both emails and moving through the things. My website is down, so all of my courses that I have, the consultations, you'll have to come to me directly because I'm rebranding. I'm in a process of reopening, and what do they call it? The grand opening. So I'm in that process right now with all the things that I do. Um, I do create things. I make crystal jewelry infused with Reiki. I and cleansed with Reiki. I make body butters, body baths, massage oils because I am a massage therapist as well. And yeah, all the things I do, and you can find all those things. Just contact me.
Yeme, before we wrap it up, can you leave us with a last positive message?
My biggest message to everyone is to really believe in yourself, because I believe in you. I believe in you like a 5-year-old girl believes in her dad. And I think that if we all truly believe in ourselves the way a baby believes in their parent, that we can all fulfill our destinies and we can all heal this planet 1 second at a time, and that we can all heal ourselves 1 moment at a time. And just remember, the best way to get through any process is to take it one bite at a time.
Yeme, thank you for your message, and thank you for being my guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.